Hey there guys, welcome to another graphics tutorial. Today we're going to be looking at Adobe Muse. Before I step into what is Adobe Muse and what you can use it for, let me just, can you please subscribe to my previous videos that I'd made. You can also check out the web series that I put on as well. And I'm sorry if I haven't uploaded anything recently because I've been tied up with college, and I also have to be looking into what's behind the world of tech and anything new really behind graphics design, and Alright, let me just jump into straight into this. Adobe Muse. What Adobe Muse is is what you use to make your website. It's basically just like Adobe Fireworks, but personally, it's my personal opinion, I think it's much better, to be honest. With Adobe Muse, you can make websites using master pages, um, and as well you can upload it to the business catalyst site. Well, simply they give you a 30-day trial. Well, that depends if you are maybe if you have the trial version, but you're given a 30-day trial to use the website and just basically just get around it. Well, let's just jump into it. First of all, you go to the site to create your site with it. Okay, and basically what it does, you put out your dimensions and everything you want and just center it horizontally. Well, basically right now I just want 1000 by 600 pixels. Then just click OK. Okay, now this is the thumbnail setup. Right now we are in the design, we're in the plan view. Actually, we're actually planning this, and at the bottom right here, masters. Well, masters are basically like these are the pages. Okay, these, do not confuse your masters and the pages. Okay, these are the pages. Okay, you can, if you want to add more pages, you just click here on this icon. Let me just close that. You just click here on these icons, and then you're basically just adding more pages. And with Adobe Muse, like if you're on a particular website, when you type in the name of the page here, it automatically names it when you go into your browser. Okay, there's no need to write it in code and add titles. We're already adding titles for your website. And then on this, I'm just gonna put about us. This is what we're going to be using to make hyperlinks so that our web design can work properly. And for this, maybe what could I say? Services, services. And then for this, I could name it this could be the contact us page. Okay, now that you've got your page set up, okay, to start designing and everything, you can have even 2 master pages. And what master pages are, this page, right, if we have if we want to create a different layout, right, maybe for the services page and for the contact us page, what you do is you just create another master, so that the A master and the B master, they're completely different. I personally use Adobe Muse because I think it's efficient and it runs properly. And the thing is, I like about Adobe Muse is you can import any type of file into it. You can import GIFs, you can import PNGs, you can import PSDs, you can import what else can you import? As well as HTML. You can also import HTML into this. Now let's jump into the design process right now. Okay. Now, here, this is your tools section. Well, you just use it to make all your designs. I just like it on the right hand side. And here we are. And at the top there, that's the browser fill, and that's the stroke around the browser fill. And on this, I don't really want a stroke, I'm sorry. And this, what you use it is for, let me just jump into these, and you can create effects and anchors and the browser fill. Let me show you a special neat effect with this. With Adobe Muse, there's no need to write code because nobody really wants to write code, to be honest. It just basically looks at designers that are based on visual experience and not coding and developing. It's for visual designers. That's what it particularly aims at. Okay, now I want to create a website, maybe with a large background image. What you do is you go to your browser fill. I'm gonna use a website with a large background. So what I'll do is I'll remove the fill. I don't want fill or anything, okay? Because I don't want it at the moment. And here are borders. These are the borders. Borders for whatever. This is the header. Whatever goes in there, it stays in there. It never goes out. It automatically stays in there when you preview it in the browser. Yeah. Okay. Now, let's say I want to add a background, a large background image to this browser. Okay, you just go to your browser fill. Since I'm creating a website with a large background image, just go to browser fill, and you click on the image icon. Let me just close that. Okay, you click, and as well as you can import I said you can import all types of files. Really, I just prefer how Adobe Muse works. You can create simple rollovers as well, and what you do is just go to add image. Okay, well, let me just go to my library section. Okay, maybe it's on my desktop as well. Let me just import that image into Adobe Muse. And Adobe Muse, it works well. You either when you are importing majority of your things, it's best make sure you do a preview. I also like the preview settings for this for Adobe Muse. You can simply preview it. It just takes a simple clicks to go to the preview mode in your web browser. Yes, I'll get into that as we're moving along. Let me just look for a suitable I could use for this website. Okay. And as well in Adobe Muse, you have, when you're publishing it, you can as well, maybe if you want to, you can export it as HTML and upload it to your browser of choice. You can upload it to whatever you want, really. Okay, I think I'm gonna be using this one. I'm really liking this design over here. Okay, and then I say open. Then it opens. Right, now we've got our image here. It simply doesn't work. It's too large. It's simply too large. Like if we zoom out a bit, it's just too large. And as well, let me just do this. Go back to your page properties. Okay, and I want you to set your height to maybe 800. I want to make this a bit larger. You know what? I think I'm gonna make a whole page right now. Go back to your properties and set this to 1000. Ooh, it's a bit big. And as well, you can add a favicon image to this as well. And since we want to, you can also adjust the background image. What you do is you go back to the browser fill, and you go here to the fitting. Right now it's on tile. I don't want tile. You can choose to tile it horizontally if you want to, vertically, or scale to fit, and then it fits perfectly on scale to fit or scale to fill. Right now I want scale to fit because it looks really much better, and for the type of website what I'm going to be doing, I think it's a really good idea. Okay, now that we've got that in, I have to adjust the our page here. Let me just adjust the page. You just go back to page, and then page properties, and let me just reduce the size a bit. Let me just say maybe 800 again. You see, and the border is already coming out. And then 750, maybe 730, and then click OK, and perfect. I want to create a website. The website may be a coffee shop kind of website. So right now, let's just hop to begin this tutorial. Well, let me just jump into my web browser first of all, and let me just show you the kind of thing we're going to be producing at the end of this tutorial. And by the way, you are going to need a bit of Photoshop to import your PSD files, because in Adobe Muse you don't have access to your circle tool, you don't have access to your triangle tool. You just have to basically you have access to the triangle, to the rectangle tool, but you do not have access to your circle tool. Well, you have access to most tools, but you are limited compared to Adobe Fireworks. I would really like to see it if they make a newer version of Adobe Muse with basically a lot of tools in it. It's a good product, and it's simply faced on people who are going into visual design. I would recommend Adobe Muse for specific people who are looking into user interface design. What you do is just jump into my website, right? You just jump into my website. Maybe if you want to have take a look what we're really looking at first. Okay, just go to my portfolio, right? Or you can have a sneak peek on my portfolio as well. Right, this is the website we're going to be making right here. This is the particular thing we're looking for. Okay, let's just jump in back to Adobe Muse and we'll begin. Right, first of all, there's the text tool. It's at the top. Just click on it and just click and drag to open up your text, and then in there, basically, let's name this Chris Coffee Shop. Coffee Shop. And then you click back to the selection tool, change your color scheme so that you can see, and then increase the size to, let me just increase it to a 40, like that. Then drag out, then put it here. It automatically stays up there, it will never move. Well, we want to make this a bit interactive. Okay, you click on it, right? Maybe if you want a different complete kind of text, you do not like this text at all, and then you go up a bit, you go to your web font section, and then go to add web fonts. Basically, you can go on the internet and search for web fonts that you can use to add for your website. Basically, the ones with the blue ticks are some of my favorite web fonts that I personally use in some of my websites. Or maybe, let's say you want that text, and that text. You would click on them, and if you're satisfied with what you have, just click OK. It loads up, and it will tell you if they're loaded. Just click OK. Go back to your web fonts family, and you find it in alphabetical order to what you downloaded it is. Or I had downloaded this font. I don't know if you want to copy the exact same design that I have done. It's called Monotone. Just click on that Monotone, and there it is. Boom, it just appears there. Well, usually it does not export it as an image, but it depends on what you're really doing. Okay, now I want to create this bar. You go to your triangle tool, click and drag. Just drag it across. Okay, and then just position it wherever you want it to be. Okay, and I'm gonna put it right there. You can adjust the stroke. I don't want a stroke on that, and the fill, I want it sort of like an orangish kind of color. That's the color that I want. Now you can actually add effects to this.